how does this show work?
Well, if I remember correctly, we get drunk and then we talk about it.
So I'm in the process of getting drunk.
Yeah.
And
We are part of the way through step 1.
So I guess we should just start talking about it. Hello. I'm Cyber. I am Connor.
Hi, I am Kylen, KyleWithAnN. Niall.
Yeah. Look, I am very tired. I just carried my 70-pound dog back up the stairs.
Why do you have to carry her up the stairs?
Okay, so like the steps in my apartment are they don't have the backs on the steps. It's literally just like the planks. I'm gesturing on our video call as if our viewers will know what I'm talking about, or as if you would know what I'm talking about. So like she can see through the horizontal slats.
Yeah.
Which freaks her out, because like if you could only look forward and you had to like step up, it's like climbing a ladder with no backing.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's a valid fear.
Yeah.
As a child, I had the fear of falling through those types of stairs. So,
But yeah, it scares her. We're working on it, but it's not going so well. But
no.
In the meantime, I will carry her up the stairs like the lady that she is, which is fine, because like that's more of a workout than I've been getting for the past like 2 years.
Yeah.
And there are much worse ways to get fit than by carrying a doggo.
Carrying a dog or cat. I'm lifting up Vax now and doing some quick reps.
And he's just accepting it.
Oh no! Now he's wiggling.
Now he's not.
He's mad at me because I've been in the office all day and have kept him out. So now he's just wanting attention so badly. So I must give him constant face pets.
Pet my face.
Oh, he only wants his face pet. Like he's just like, yes, give it to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes, very rarely, he will accept a belly rub. But most times he'll attack.
Attack.
Oh, I love my son.
So you were in the office all day on streams?
Yes, on streams. More so than my once a week Saturday stream. I because I have so much free time to give away, I accepted an offer to be on a one-shot today.
And that was on the Greyhawk channel?
Yes. So the offer came to me by way of friend of the channel, LB Hackamup.
Yes.
Pew, pew,
yes,
pew.
LB. Pew, 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 pew.
Who messaged me on Discord saying, hey, a friend of mine, Greek Sid, otherwise, who I know better as Christina, is looking for players for a one-shot. She specifically is looking for female or non-binary people to make up the party. I would do it, but I'm out of town, so just asking around, asking people. So it's funny because I think I was talking to Indoor, and friend of the channel, Indoor Adventurer.
Pew, 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 pew.
And I was like, I think I'm gonna slow down on the streamed one shots. Guess what? I'm a liar. I love overcommitting.
KyleWithAnN's a fucking liar.
So I was like, you know what? Sign me up. So I get in contact with Christina and say, hey, I hear you have an opening. I'd like to play. And so she was more than willing to have me on the channel. And so I played a game of 5e as we did a little backstory one shot for her character, Zan, who is an Air Genasi celestial warlock. So, Isabel and Zephyr smushed together.
Their offspring in yet another alternate timeline.
OT. But so yes, a backstory for her character, who is in the campaign. They're playing Temple of Elemental Evil over on the Greyhawk channel.
The Temple of Elemental Evil, like the earlier module, not the 5th edition one.
I am not entirely certain.
I think
I can't speak to that.
Temple of Elemental Evil adventure was specifically written for Greyhawk, so it makes.
I mean, this does take place in the campaign that the one shot that we did take place in Greyhawk specifically. So you're not wrong. That's probably.
I still might be wrong. Sober Connor, let me know if I'm wrong.
Sober Connor slamming up screenshots of Wikipedia articles.
Sober Connor was busy today doing shit like that. So let me praise Sober Connor real quick.
Of course.
We are recording this about an hour after Let's Talk About It 10 got posted.
Oh my god, I haven't even posted about it yet because I just got off stream. I'm such a bad promoter.
So like in the past 2 weeks, not only have I been doing most of the streams that I've been usually doing, unfortunately because of injuries and power outages and just all around misfortune, my game on Pro Stars channel got canceled this past week.
Oof.
But it makes sense. We also lost another player, unfortunately. But people gotta take care of their stuff. So yeah, I didn't get to play that day, but I got to use some of that time and the time of Wednesday and time of Tuesday, and pretty much all day today where I wasn't, doing groceries or getting my hair cut or like other ways to take care of myself. Editing, Let's Talk About It. So, and let me just say, I am actually starting to learn how to edit videos.
Wow. Growth.
Yeah. So Supercon is doing good. And we have not been in a situation where there was more than one Let's Talk About It in the editing queue.
Almost got there, but we didn't. But yeah. So Connor, we love, we stand, we support.
But back to shit, what were we talking about?
I mean, before this we were kind of talking about me getting into this one shot, but
yeah.
You want to keep talking about that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, yes. Where exactly was I at? Okay, back. Just lick your leg loudly.
So we were talking about I don't think we talked about any of the like background or anything. We were just talking about like elemental evil being a Greyhawk thing.
Yeah. And I was saying this is the backstory to one of the characters who is in the campaign. The campaign is Temple of Elemental Evil. Got it. All right, back on track. Yes. So, yes. So I played with Christina. That was her character. I played with MK, whose name I believe on Twitch and in Twitter is MK is the best. Who played a lizard folk barbarian who had an alligator head and fancy clothes named Margaret, who was like the queen of the swamp. And had like I'm from the east side and I've smoked too many cigarettes accent.
I love her.
It was great. Everything out of her mouth was golden. Loved it. So that was her. And then we had let's see, Casey, whose whose handle I can't remember. Sorry, maybe I can tell Sober Connor and Sober Connor can slap it somewhere. But Casey, who was playing a half-elf eldritch knight named Samara, who had a sentient, bloodthirsty blade named Slakeless, who was always trying to get that blood.
Max is showing off that leggy.
Max is doing yoga poses in my arms.
Max is doing the parkour for us.
Hell yeah. And as for myself, I played a character who I've had sitting in the D&D Beyond chamber for quite some time now, whose name is Sarah.
I sort of recognize the name Sarah. I don't know if this is a character that you talked to me about before.
It's possible, because I have had her queued up for like months, just kind of waiting for a time to maybe drop her in somewhere. And I was like, now's as good a time as any. Yes, so she is a Protector Asimar, Way of the Sun Soul monk.
Ooh.
Who, according to the backstory I gave her, was born to human parents who had been trying for a child for a very long time. And as they were worshippers of Pelor, prayed to Pelor for his help in that effort. And with his blessing, perhaps a little celestial was mixed in. So, boop, little Asmar baby. So,
Pelor went full Zeus.
Maybe not that bad. There was no fucking. Connor's giving me doubtful eyes. But, yeah, so as a way to kind of give back and give thanks, I kind of borrowed this story from the Bible almost. I believe it was Samuel, I believe, whose mother, Hannah, maybe, gave him, like, it dropped him off at the temple and was like, you'll be, you're going to grow up here and be raised in God and be trained by the priest, maybe. I don't know. Drunk history. But, yeah, I kind of borrowed that. So as a way to kind of almost like give back to Pelor to show thanks, she was dropped off at a monastery at an early age to some monks who kind of practice Pelor's teachings. Not exactly the clergy, but a little more of a spiritual approach to Pelor's ways. And after spending time there learning the ways of the monks, Pelor appeared to her in visions and dreams, saying, "Go out and spread the light." So she has gone out on adventures and has been trying to do good in the world ever since. And that's that backstory, all squared away.
I like it.
But yeah, I enjoyed playing her for two reasons, really. From the RP aspect, she was fun to play because she was really just a calming, serene presence. Very kind, very quiet, very contemplative, very soothing, especially in this one shot, in the points where there was kind of some high emotions, which is nice because a lot of the characters I tend to play at times are a little more headstrong, are a little more emotional. Probably the ones in need of the calming presence, but instead I kind of flipped the script and played another role, which is always fun to exercise an archetype you don't get to RP as much, right?
Yeah.
So, and that was good, and I think it fit well into the party dynamic where we had two rough and tumble brash girls and two who were a little bit more on the calmer, more cautious side. Well, I guess Sarah was more so on that end, and Zan, the main character, was somewhere in between. So that was, it was a nice way to round out the party. And two, I've discovered tonight that I fucking love playing monks. Like, holy shit, why have I not given monks a fair shot before? That shit is fun.
Monk is the only class that I have not played.
Well, Connor, this is me, Kylen, telling you to get on that train because, I mean, first of all, you get all up in that action, but as a dex tank, if you allot your stats in an appropriate way, no one can hit you. No one can hit you because your AC is so high. So to me, that's almost superior to being just your strength and, or I guess maybe your con-based tanks like your barbarians or whatever, where you just, take less damage. Because you know what's better than taking less damage? Taking no damage. I mean, I guess it's kind of like high risk, high reward in that sense. Because once you do take damage, you take damage. But yeah. So that's a pro right there. Higher chance to take no damage. Number two, you just get like so many attacks. Like we were playing level 5 characters, so I got the 2 standard attacks. But then if I wanted to, I could spend a key point and get 2 more attacks that I was proficient in and do some damage with. So that's superior to maybe doing some like offhand fighting where you got to subtract that proficiency unless you have like a feat or a fighting style or whatever. So already, off the bat, 4 attacks that all you can use all with your proficiencies and all that good stuff. So that's cool. 3 key points. Key points are neat. The kind of stuff you can spend them on, the kind of moves you can do. Patient defense is really cool. Saved my ass from getting critted on tonight. Because patient defense allows you to take the dodge action as a bonus action. Stunning strike is neat. I wasn't able to get it to hit tonight, but I'm sure if I did, it would have been cool. Being able to catch fucking projectiles, neat. Of course, that's not even a key point, I don't believe. It's a key point to throw it back, but to just catch it itself, you just have to roll some stuff. But yeah, no, that's all fucking cool. Really fucking cool being able to move a 10 extra feet. You know, and there was one point where we were trying to chase someone, and I was like, I'm gonna dash and move 80 feet and get right up on their ass. So that's neat, that sense of traversing the battlefield. And finally, I'd like to give a special shout out to the subclass I was playing tonight, which I think, based on what I've sort of read on the internet, is not the most beloved monk subclass. I think it fares a little better than Way of the Four Elements in terms of internet love, but Way of the Sun Soul. So one of my attack actions that I can take is a projectile radiant bolt that deals radiant damage. And that thing was my best friend tonight, because so many things we fought were weak to radiant damage.
Yes.
And on top of that, as an ASMR, a protector ASMR, if I could transform into like this angelic being with the angel wings and glowing eyes, and be able to deal additional radiant damage equal to my level. So that was a really cool build, just being able to just deal out so much radiant damage. So all this to say, monks are fun. And if you haven't played a monk, give a monk a chance. Because if that subclass doesn't sound cool to you, there are other subclasses out there that are really cool. Drunken Master, Way of the Long Death. Other ones, Kensei monks, Four Elements. I mean, not everyone likes them, but you know, give it a shot. So yeah, that's my spiel for the evening. Give monks a chance.
Yeah, I need to. There hasn't been a campaign that I was like, where any sort of narrative that I wanted to play out sort of lent itself to the monk class.
That's fair. You know, narrative for me comes first for the characters that I pick for the campaigns or one shots I take a part of, because I have so many characters just backlogged because I love creating characters in my free time. So, but you know, so whenever I have opportunities to play in new games, I'm just like, whose jam would fit in this jelly? So,
but the Elemental Evil game was not the only game that you streamed today.
oh yeah, no, I mean, I haven't talked about the actual game itself, but you know, we can put that off if you want.
I mean, do you want to talk about the game?
Yeah, I guess we can finish this and we can come back to the other game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess to give you guys kind of a summary of what happened this evening. First of all, I forgot to mention our DM was Saverick. He was the only,
yay,
you know, the only guy in the party of females, but he did an absolutely amazing job DMing, and I forgot to mention everyone did an absolute amazing job of role playing. It's almost intimidating being in the midst of role players of that caliber, but it was fantastic. Such good feelings after that game. Such love was given to all parties. But yeah, so we were seeking out some cult activity in Zan's hometown. This demonic cult. Max just bit my arm for no reason.
Aww.
What the heck, son?
Why have you betrayed me?
Stop biting me. um, so we went to Zan's old house where her parents used to live. We found out that they were involved with the cult. Oh, we also fought a rot troll flan that was at the house. But yeah, I found out they were involved with the cult, and were able to find their kind of base of operations in that area. Went through, killed a lot of cultists, and at the end, after our final battle, we had taken the boss lady prisoner, and we're about to leave when we realized that our companion Samara had gone missing. So we go back and search the room for her, find that there's this puzzle, solve the puzzle, open up a secret room, find this room with a cage. Our lizard folk barbarian is able to smell out that Samara and someone else was here, but there's just no trace of them. The trail's gone cold. They've disappeared. So, we're kind of saddened, this bittersweet victory, and we leave and we turn this cultist lady over to the town for justice, and sadly depart without our party member. But meanwhile, somewhere else in the world, we find that Samara has been transported somewhere else with a prisoner who was Zan's missing sister that she has been looking for this whole time. And it turns out that Samara is not the half elf that we knew, but an abyssal tiefling who was serving this. It was like the same entity that came, that like this. It was like this tiger entity that like came and visited Zan in her dreams. It was like, oh, you need to go to this town and stop the cult and find her sister. And it appeared as this entity, but then it was like this rotting, fleshy, demonic thing. I don't know that. Maybe the thing that Zan's serving is actually evil and she doesn't know it. It's misleading her, but like this thing was bad. And it was like, well done. And and so Samara took Zan's sister through that portal, and that was the end of the one shot. So we were all angry. evil plotting on Casey and Zavrik's part. But no, it was a fantastic one shot. I'm still riding that high, and very grateful to have been invited to be a part of that experience. And hopefully I can come back and play on the Greyhawk channel again another day.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Fun stuff. All right. I feel like I've done a majority of the talking, so let's talk about a game that you've done or something.
Well, like I said, the Pro Starter game got canceled this past week. The week before, it didn't seem like we were really doing anything for the main story since we were still waiting on our fifth party member. Who unfortunately will not be joining up with us.
It is unfortunate.
But stuff happening. We may or may not be trying to kill a hag as level 1 characters.
Oh, T?
I
mean, what CR is a hag? Really? Like,
Green Hags are CR 3, I think I remember. I don't know. Our kiddos are probably gonna die.
R.I.P.
Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes. It's just it we haven't been able to play consistently enough for me to like really get into the mindset of this shifter kid.
Yeah, sometimes it's kind of difficult to really get in the skin of your character in one session, depending. Um, one shots you really gotta accelerate that, but with like longer term campaigns, I always feel the transition into the role play you want takes a little longer.
Really?
I mean, not like I don't know. It's to me it's like an experimental process because I have an idea of what I want to do going in, but then there's like a sense of like nerves and like okay, let's suss out the situation, let's suss out the story and the other characters and the dynamics and the you know and all that stuff. So sometimes it takes me, I feel, a little bit to really get into the character that I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's not apparent, then good.
Well, I was thinking that was interesting because in another game that I'm in and have been in for, at the time of recording, about 6 months,
Ooh.
is the game on the Indoor Adventures channel.
Yeah.
Where I'm playing Blake, and honestly, like it's been so long playing with him that it's like the novelty has worn off, and because of that, it's harder for me to jump back into the character.
Interesting. That's really interesting. Can you explain that a little further?
I've just been noticing in the past couple of sessions, and actually, if you watch the VODs, you can actually hear me call myself out on this. There are just moments where either I'm being too charismatic with this character, or I'm breaking the fourth wall too much, even by my own like I break the fourth wall with this character every now and then.
Yeah.
Just as a quirk. But
yeah.
I've noticed that like whenever I'm like don't know what to do, I tend to like use it as defense mechanism.
Yeah, no, humor is definitely a coping mechanism that I think sometimes it feels almost necessary to use in like RP, especially when moments seem to be a little on the heavier side. Just kind of a way to like, almost separate yourself for the character for that moment to kind of just so it doesn't affect you too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But I've definitely seen myself like stepping back from that character, which is like upsetting because like I really, really like this character and what I'm exploring with him. Things are actually getting really spicy in there.
OT.
So we finally landed on the island of the bronze dragon, not brass dragon. I always get those two confused.
I get bronze, brass, and copper all confused. I'm just like, oh my god. They're all shades of brown. Who sprays what kind of damage?
We finally landed on that island. And during one of our episodes, like, one of the seagulls specifically looked at me and like squawked and flew away. And all the other players were just like, "Oh yeah, seagulls do that. That's normal." And I'm like, "What the fuck? I don't live around seagulls. I've never lived around seagulls, so I did not know this." But later, during one of our night sequences, Blake just like was walking around the island and like sat down at a waystone and wrote his diary, which is like actually like a letter to a character from his backstory. That I've just been doing as like a writing exercise, but also
Yeah.
like if he wanted to release those as part of like a Patreon thing or whatever, that content's already there.
Ooh woo.
So I sat down to do that, and this little seagull like started creeping up and like looking at my stuff, the things that I was writing. And whenever I finished, I got up and walked away. And seagull was just like, dragon blood, interconic. And I'm like, what? Are you gonna visit?
You want me?
Are you gonna visit the the bronze dragon? It is bronze. Okay. I'm like, no. You should visit. And then flew away. So
What the fuck, Indoor?
indoor. What the fuck? I don't think I've said that in the past couple of sessions. I need to do better about that.
Yeah. My challenge to you is what the fuck at Indoor some more.
But yeah, I should be able to visit that little bit of trauma in a coming up session.
Spicy, spicy trauma.
Probably not next session because I think we have to kill a hag.
Ooh, hags abound.
That seems to be a recurring theme in all of my games right now.
Well, not the one that I was in, but we can get to that.
Trista.
Yeah. So my question for you, I guess, to kind of I bring it back a little bit to what you're talking about before. I mean, what do you do in that case when you're almost like it seems to be almost a sense of like burnout or like you've left the honeymoon phase of this character? Like, what do you do to combat that and to, I guess, maybe spark up the magic again?
I put more drama into my backstory and hope that my DM brings it up.
Traumatize me.
So like with Blake, either that comes with me spicing up some of the lore with his patron is also the ancient black dragon that he was cloned from.
Ooh.
Who like led an army or was a conquering tyrant in his heyday. In the background, I've been coming up with Indoor with some of the lore from that age. Like you wouldn't know this from the normal game, but like there's like this really cool idea that I had that like his armies were identified with coins that were reprinted and worn around the neck, sort of like army dog tags.
Okay.
Copper for regular rank and file people, going up to silver to gold, and in some cases, adamantine.
Oh.
And some goblins in his army were actually the inventors of the crossbow.
Oh.
But I mean, those were just random tidbits that I'm just like, okay, this is something that's really cool that relates to my character, and I'll be happy to see that like show up. But it's just stuff like that to make me like re-energized about the character.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of suggest something like that, almost like, you know, like those writing prompts and like OC questions that you see floating around on the internet, where it's not even like major stuff, it's like trivial stuff. It's like, you know, describe your OC's perfect day or something like that. Just kind of like exploring that mindset more and figuring out like those smaller details, those details that make them more fleshed out to kind of, I don't know, give them more depth. Maybe that's something you can try, but it seems like you are trying it in some aspect, kind of filling out,
Oh
some.
yeah, by no means am I tired of Blake. Like
Yeah,
there's so much more that I want to do with him that I really hope uh comes to fruition.
yeah, no, but it's just the ebb and flow of that RP commitment, I guess, is the term I'm looking for.
Yeah, I don't think I'm burned out with RPing. I think I'm just burned out in general.
Ah, so general life burnout.
Yeah.
That's fair.
How's Monster of the Week?
Oh, okay. Let's go back to me. We'll play volleyball with this. So yeah, earlier today, I played in my Monster of the Week game, which today's plot to me was super interesting as both a player and the role I feel fill in character. So the episode starts with not our regular teacher in the classroom, uh, my potential, not my potential stepdad, um, but someone else who we've never recognized before, telling us that we failed our mission so bad and all of our powers were going to be stripped from us, which for Lenny wasn't that big of a deal. He's a mostly mundane human who has had some access to magic, but not that he's really conscious of, because maybe aliens, but um, but yeah, no, it really kind of messed up the other party members who rely on more supernatural abilities. Like our party's werewolf fucking lost his wolf abilities, and
Sad
our
Awoo's only.
awoo. And our divine lost their divine powers, and our sect member lost their cool sect magic. So everyone was pretty nerfed in that sense. But then we pass out and we wake up and we're on a battlefield and we're fighting werewolves and we have no idea what's going on. Um, yeah, I know we were attacking cyberwolves everywhere.
I hurt so much.
We were able to make it back to this base, and yeah, it was interesting. As part of, excuse me, my character's moves from his playbook. He is the Flake, who is the conspiracy theorist, who is all about asking questions and seeing the bigger picture. I rolled well on my starting move, which is connect the dots, which allows me to kind of ask some guided questions about the overarching plot of the mystery. So my character was able to figure out that whatever is going on, this isn't the regular timeline. It is a timeline filled with anachronisms. So we're a part of the Union Army, which is 1860s, with leaders from the civil rights movement and the 1860s emancipation movement. So 100 years between those, but yet the story's taking place in 2019. So Lenny was able to piece together that this isn't our correct timeline. It seems that a bunch of timelines are fractured and being placed, smushed together, and that it's very unstable. And we had to figure out how to write this. So as we're going through this and figuring out more of kind of what's going on, we figure out that two different forces are kind of at play in the story. We have one who is, oh shit, I'm gonna get this name wrong. Anansi, I think is right.
A Nazi?
It is.
Like the Aztec spider thing?
Oh my god. Yeah, so it was like this god figure who is all about like, it did have like a spider motif that was all about like
Don't fuck with me in lore.
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 That was all about like oral history and tradition and stories and weaving webs. So we figure out he's a player in the story, who we think is a bad guy at first because he was also the teacher that was in our classroom. But it turns out that he's on our side and he's doing this on purpose because the last monster that we fought, who we've kind of lost memory of, except for Lemmy, because he kind of remembered snippets of it, which is really interesting because none of the other players remembered, and Lemmy's like hashing out all these theories, and they're kind of like, that, you know, this doesn't make any sense. What are you going on about? So Lemmy, once again, is feeling like he is the crazy person in the room that no one believes because, you know, no one believes he was abducted by aliens. So it was a really interesting dynamic with Lemmy just being like, you know, I'm not crazy. Like, why don't you guys believe me? So that was kind of fun to explore. But yeah, no, so Lemmy kind of remembers this. The other force at play is like this nightmare hag creature who is able to put its victims into like a deep, dark, depressing sleep and suck out their life force. So both of these creatures at play have affected history to make it to where it is a story of oppression. Lycanthropes are oppressing humans, and really interesting. So by the end of it, we're able to infiltrate the Lycanthropes' base of operations, which was this natural history museum, interestingly enough, that had this idol or statue or something that we were originally looking for in our mission before we lost our memories and got sucked into this crazy altered time space, if I'm making sense.
No, but I think that's on brand for Lemmy.
Okay. No, you don't understand. It's all bigger picture stuff. But yeah, no. And you know, fighting these lycanthropes and fighting this nightmare hag creature again, which almost ended up killing one of our party members. So Ajax, played by friend of the channel, R Justice, lost all of his health to this nightmare hag creature while dealing the killing blow on it. And Prairie started a roll to determine who would come up upon the scene, and it just so happened that the person was Lemmy. So Lemmy walks up and sees this hag and Ajax choking each other out, and Ajax is on death's door. And Prairie was like, "What would you like to do?" And Lemmy decides to throw some throwing knives and try to sever this choking connection. And Bruce was like, "Well, you know, he's technically dying, and there's not supposed to be anything you can do about it, but I'll allow it because, you know, rule of cool." Mm-hmm. I ended up failing the roll, but Monster of the Week has this interesting feature called luck, which you can spend a luck to get like the best possible result on a roll. But however, you have so many luck points to spend, and if you end up spending your last luck point, very bad consequences happen to your character in game. So it's just like, how much luck can you spend before you doom yourself? You know? And are you willing to take the last luck point? It's, I think, a very interesting concept, but I did spend a luck on to save Ajax and was able to save him from dying. Yeah, and it was interesting the way that story kind of wrapped up. Was almost like a fast forward to the future, many years in the future, where people were still telling the story of how our party saved the day, because the theme was, oral history and tradition, and
Yeah.
how, regardless of what may have happened, if so many people believe something happened, then it's the truth. So I personally loved it as just a player, just because of those kinds of themes and the way it all weaved together. Like, I love Pro Restarter as a DM, but I think today he really knocked it out of the park in the terms of the story that he told. Yeah. Also, it was very nice because he specifically shouted out those characters because it's Black History Month, and so he specifically wanted to draw on those themes. So it was very cool. Mm-hmm. But next time, maybe a little spoiler, but not too much. We are getting a downtime RP episode, so you can see more inter-party relationship building and perhaps drama.
I mean, it's per research channel.
Yeah. So, drama. Regardless, but yeah, that was that session today. I really loved it because Lemmy took a lot of the forefront of the mystery solving, while the other characters felt a little bewildered, despondent over the situation in which their powers had been taken from them. Lemmy really stepped up to the plate, so that was kind of cool. But yeah. So yeah, let me knock the tennis ball back in your court. Let's talk about something you were a part of.
I've already talked about all the games that I was doing on streams.
We could talk about our non-streamed games.
That's what we're gonna do. So we've got 2 games with the same group right now. We've played sessions with both of them.
Yeah. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Adora.
Okay, so let's talk about TSB's game, Heroes of Adora, which is a homebrew brainchild that comes from my boyfriend TSB. A very sandboxy adventure of heroes in a world without heroes.
Sober Connor, clip KyleWithAnN saying "child of my boyfriend."
Child that comes from my boyfriend TSB. No! Don't do it! Listen to me!
Which one do I shoot? Which one do I diddle?
You must choose! But, yeah, no, it's just, the same group of people that play in the Mon Dragon Heist campaign, but it's shifted as to who is DM and who is player. And it's been, have we had 2 sessions since we last talked about it?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay, well, yep. Yeah.
We've had our level up and we've had this one.
Yeah, so we have 2 level ups. We're level 4 now, which is awesome. But yeah, I play my beloved gnome bard. Ellie pluck string. Um, was extremely charismatic, but extremely unwise. Um, innocent and gullible, and a total rock star. And Connor, who do you play?
I play Skewer, the frat boy werewolf.
Who's in the chat?
Yes, Skewer, my first D&D 5e OC. He's a blood hunter or the Lycan. He got a sword. He runs in. He beats shit up.
Yeah,
Tries to.
tries. But so I guess to back it up, um, not this past session, but the session before, um, kind of doing some doing some favors for a wizard, clearing out a wizard tower of enchanted armor and swords, which was fun. But to me, the best part of the session came from our level 3 level up montages, because we all picked classes, barbarian, fighter, bard, and blood hunter, that take their subclasses at level 3. So our DM concocted um, almost like dream sequence storytelling sequences. Well, not all of us had a dream sequence, but I'll leave you to talk about that.
Yeah, my
But
shit was real.
sequences to kind of explain perhaps what could have led us to have gotten this new power. So for my character, mine was easy. I just had a lovely dream um, that my character's mother was telling her, stories of heroes and adventure and exploits and everything, to kind of explain how she got to be a bard to a lore bard. But it was very sad in character because Ellie woke up not remembering the dream at all. So not remembering her mom. Uh, so big sad on Kylen's part. But no, mine was simple. Let's talk about Skewers, because Skewer had skill challenges.
Yeah, so if you want your blood hunter to become Order the Lycan, and you level up on the road, things are difficult because like the whole thing about taking the Order of the Lycan is that you have to undergo something called the taming.
Mm-hmm.
There's no official like critical role lore on the taming yet. Uh, it was briefly mentioned in Liam's one shot, but that was it. But like it's at this point that you like become a werewolf and you can tap into that sort of thing. Skior, I had it so that 2 weeks before the game started, he had killed some werewolves. That was like a job that he had taken on, and it didn't end up so good for him, and he got cursed.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all going to come at a head pretty soon. Now, before he left, he had stolen his adopted mother's notes. His adopted mother being the only person in this setting who had successfully done a taming, the first person who even sort of thought that it could be a thing. Your sister, at one point, tried to replicate it and failed.
Oof.
So 2 weeks before he realizes he's infected, he's got to make this work, or find somebody who has beef with werewolves who would be able to put him down.
Oof.
And that's where Dennehy comes in.
Yeah, Dennehy, played by Friend of the channel, Arsqueef.
Uh, so Arthqueef had made his character specifically to annoy me.
True.
Absolutely hated werewolves, and I'm sure that there's a lot more complicated story there.
Which is so beautiful as an outside observer, because you guys, to my knowledge, had no knowledge of what the other person was doing.
I had that little inkling because I was waffling with Skewer. TSB did fill me in like, oh, well, I think your backstory could be pretty cool with like another player's character.
Oh, fucking
And I'm
TSB.
like, but he didn't tell me who.
Oh, okay.
But I assumed that it wasn't Ginger Benji.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, AQ would do that.
He really would. He really did.
And he did. But no, I thought that like, yeah, Skewer would totally team up with like someone else who had beef with werewolves, because if this didn't work, he needed somebody who would put him down.
Mm-hmm.
So as we level up, the full moon comes, and Skewer wakes up Dennehy in the middle of the night, and it's just like, I need you to come with me. And hands him a silver knife.
Ooh.
They Skewer sets up this ritual, and just like, dude, this is what's happening. I need you to be ready to kill me.
Ooh.
Which there was a chance that I could have failed this skill challenge.
Yep, that was written in where you could have failed the challenge to become a full-on lycanthrope. With all the chaotic evil that it entails.
Oof. But we go through this whole thing where I make this mixture, I make this ritual circle, and one detail that I did have influence over, the reason that the ritual was so easy, and the only reason why it worked, is because of the lunar eclipse that was happening at the time.
Okay.
A few of my werewolf OCs have background tied to the lunar eclipse.
I love that you have to say a few of my werewolf OCs, implying that you, one, have multiple werewolf OCs, and two, that this doesn't even apply to all of your werewolf OCs.
I deserve all of that. Well, I can't talk about a lot of them, but like Koyar. Koyar is the son of two werewolves, but he is a shifter. And whenever I originally come up with the concept, I'm like, if he was born during a blood moon, if he was born during a lunar eclipse, that could have an effect on his physiology. Him like half lycanthrope or something like that. Another werewolf OC that I had, he's only been an NPC in my game so far. His name's Michael Graywood. His father was a werewolf, and he was Michael was born during the blood moon, which is why he was able to control his beast so much. And the reason that I deal with that I like having my characters tied to the lunar eclipses so much is just because I like watching lunar eclipses, and it seems like they've been happening like fairly often.
It's just that fucking Simpsons meme of Marge where she's just like, I just think they're neat.
I just think they're neat with werewolves. But yeah, Blood Moon ritual ended up with some weird dream sequence where I had to kill my inner beast.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know if like killing it was the best option at that point, but TSV was just like, yeah, dude, it's trying to kill you. You gotta do this.
Yeah, that
But
was. I had insider knowledge. That was the way that you were supposed to go about it.
yeah, because like I was like grappling this thing and like trying to get it to submit, but nah,
Submit.
I had to kill it.
Yeah.
But I did, and now I'm a beastie boy,
Yeah.
and who boy can Skior not be trusted with that?
Yeah, it was interesting in our very next session, in one of our battles, because we had quite a few battles. It was a very much kind of travel encounter session, which was a lot of fun, I think. But and I think our second encounter, there came a point where, because one of the features of uh, the lycanthrope blood hunter is, well, you can explain it a little more than I can.
Yeah, it's called Bloodlust. If you take damage on your turn at the beginning, or if you take damage on your next turn, you have to succeed on a wisdom save equal to, well, you have to succeed on a wisdom save. If you fail it, you have to use your attack action on the nearest creature, whether it be friend or foe.
Mm-hmm. And so you failed one of your bloodlust saves, and there it was like kind of a clusterfucky situation. So TSB rolled the dice, and guess what? You hit Ellie, and my God, you absolutely skewered the fuck out of her. Like I was 8 points away from passing out.
Yeah, I have definitely built Skior to be a damage per second character.
Yeah, so I mean,
And who boy did you take that damage in that second?
oh, I certainly did. I mean, it was fine. You know, like you just cure wounds, and like on the next turn, I was able to heal all the damage back that I had taken, but it had very interesting role play consequences afterwards. Because here's fucking Dennehy, who is like 5 seconds away from stabbing you at any moment. And then Ellie, who's just kind of like heartbroken, just like, that really hurt. Why would you do that, Skewer? Not really understanding that it's not something that he can completely control. So just a sad moment all around.
That has definitely affected Skior.
No. But Ellie, is the bounce back champ. So, things affect her for a little while, but she gets over things very quickly. She's not the type to hold a grudge. So while she's probably like, okay, it happened, but, it's fine. It was an accident. And it's completely over. It's yours. Just like, I have committed this grievous sin.
Skior may have completed the taming, but that doesn't mean it's completely tame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where his head's at.
Yeah. So, kind of sussing that out. Dealing with that. I'm sure all the lovely things it does to his self-esteem. Yeah. In lighter news, I really dug deep into that low wisdom on my character. When one of our first encounters was with a Gorgon, which is a CR5 creature, and we were a level 3 party of 4. And I decided to, because, TSB was trying to be kind and nerf the creature by rusting it up. And I decided to use prestidigitate to like clean its little rust spots and free up its petrifying AoE attack that
I could have died.
Yeah, that could have killed Skewer. I mean, luckily he saved, but yeah, it was such a bad move on my part that at the end of the session, TSB awarded me inspiration. He was like, "That was terrible, but awesome in character. Have an inspiration." So that was fun, and oh, I gotta talk about my favorite scene from the episode. The yeah, oh, actually, I'm able to explain it out of character. So, Ellie, it was around the time that Dennehy and Ellie were like switching watch or something, where we hear kind of this sad cry off in the distance. So Dennehy and Ellie are like, let's go check it out and see what this is. And yeah, we come across this Cyclops who is crying for his Teddy, which is a dead grizzly bear. And we're only level 3 characters. We can't really do anything about it. But on a whim, I decided to pray to this god that we had, or demigod, god, minor god, somewhere in there.
Yeah, lesser deity.
Yeah, named Aiden, the god of secrets, who we encountered a shrine to in our travels. And Ellie was just like, I don't know if you can do a miracle, but if you could, that would be really nice. And, me, Kylen, totally on a whim, just like, try? Because I saw no other way to approach that situation. And I found out after the fact, TSB was like, yeah, I didn't think you would do that at all. So it was really interesting. So I ended up rolling a percentile dice and doing a persuasion check, which I am beautiful at. So I was true. And because previously I had made an offering at Aiden's shrine, which requires paying a gold piece and telling a secret, I had earned 1 favor from Aiden. And with all those factors combined, Aiden approaches Ellie and is like, are you sure you want to spend your favor on this? And she very much wanted to. So a grizzly bear was brought back to life, which was very beautiful and touching, and low-key, I was on the verge of crying. But that's because I can't deal with, like, animal death and people being sad about it.
Yeah.
Really affects me. So I was having to blink away at potential tears. Happy and sad tears.
Look, during that, sorry, brief aside, during that whole encounter, my ass is just like, oh my gosh, this Cyclops named this grizzly bear Teddy. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, is Theodore Roosevelt a thing in this?
Illegal lore.
Because if Theodore Roosevelt wasn't a person in Adora, why would a giant name a bear Teddy?
TSB explain.
TSB explain. I gotta know the lore.
Of course, I'm sure that's all your ass could do because your character was asleep during this time.
My character was asleep, and my character has not reacted well to Aiden at all.
Yeah, true, because I didn't try to
suss out a secret, and I'm just like, why would I tell you this?
Yeah, and it ended up being a detriment to you in your skill challenge because I didn't help you or some shit like that. Made you choke or something. But yeah, no, able to bring this this bear back to life, and Ellie was like, "Oh, it wasn't me, it was Aiden," and tell the Cyclops all about him, and I think the action really struck Dennehy, who I think up until this point was really annoyed by Ellie because she's very childish, and still is. But I think he was touched by why she would go out of her way to help this stranger. But we returned to camp and tried to tell Skewer about what happened, but we are not able to because, but yeah, every time we tried to, the words would be stuck in our throat because Aiden's curse as a minor deity is no one can ever, you know, no one can ever like speak of the deeds that he's done.
Can't talk about that.
Yeah, no. Like you can talk about Aiden, you can't talk about the deeds that he does.
Nope, can't talk about that.
Yep, nope. Nope, can't talk about that.
Nope.
But yeah, that was a very beautiful, touching moment. And since we converted this Cyclops to Aiden's religion, there was another Aiden shrine. So I was able to pay another gold and tell another secret to get another favor, which the secret was that Ellie doesn't know who her parents are, and she would very much like to. So, more backstory lore.
While that was going on, I'm just like, if they pressure me, what secret would I tell? But like, most obscure stuff is already out there. Like, the biggest thing was that like, he was cursed, and was going to turn into a werewolf. That's been resolved. The only other stuff is like Blood Hunter stuff, and well, his sister failed the chaining, and had to be dealt with.
Oh no!
Or that's what he was told.
Ooh.
And yeah, he doesn't know who his parents are.
Oh, that's kind of a secret, I think.
But I mean, he never really. That it's not really a secret. No one's just asked him about it.
If mine counts as a secret, then yours counts as a secret.
But like, he wouldn't think of it as a secret.
I guess that's fair. It's all about how you approach it, I suppose. But
Dragon Heist.
Yeah, let's talk about Dragon Heist.
Yeah, and then we'll take a little break.
Yeah, so if you're a listener of Latai, you know that Connor loves prepping.
So much. It's his favorite thing to do.
It's his favorite thing to do. He does it so well in advance. Preps out for every possibility.
I'm just shaking my head right now.
So, because it's been 2 sessions. So the session before last, Connor prepared for one thing, and we were like, fuck that, let's go on a cave. Which, to be fair, I suggested for backstory reasons, because one of the people from Otto's backstory, one of the baddies from his backstory was hiding out down there, so I was like, why not go take care of this? So, it wasn't just a big old fuck you. There was some reasoning, but
yeah,
it wasn't something that you had directly prepared for, because you like doing like 30 minutes of prep.
If that much. Okay. That whole statement is inaccurate. Because I don't like doing 30 minutes of prep. I hate every second of it. And it's not 30 minutes. It's like 5 at the most.
I was being nice.
but yeah, y'all had decided to resolve that loose thread and
Mm-hmm.
pursue Jace Belnades, who has no tie-in to Waterdeep Dragon Heist at all.
Nope, no. It was just a character from Otto's backstory.
It was actually a character that I created for Otto's backstory.
Oh, oh, I didn't know that. But,
Otto does have many characters in his backstory, but Jace Belnades was one that I created for him.
yeah, but he's a class baddie who Otto has some history with. So yeah, our first session was Connor basically going through D&D Beyond and looking for weird
Yeah, I just found aberrations, and it's just like, hey,
yeah, aberrations.
Hey, why don't you fight this? Why don't you fight this? Which like wasn't the most fair, but y'all had also just gotten to 5th level, and I felt like it was a good opportunity to like have y'all flex some of those new skills.
Yeah, and we hadn't done any like real heavy combat for a while, so it was fun to flex. And you know, to your credit, you have a great skill of pulling things out your ass.
Which takes, speaking of things that I pulled out of my ass, let's talk about the next session, because after doing multiple quote unquote random encounters, I actually did have a week to like think about what y'all would encounter next.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want y'all to fight anymore. I thought that was like, I felt like y'all had done all y'all needed to like get a feel for how you fight as a level 5 party.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did y'all find? Because I may have peeked ahead at something for our second half, and I might be able to talk about this a little bit more in detail then.
Ooh. So the first thing we encountered was a fluff, which was really cute and friendly, and we gave it some good positive energy to feed off of, and it was just a very happy experience. So we had a nice springtime soleil, and we also encountered a mind witness, which is like a beholder baby, but
it's a full ass beholder.
Full ass beholder with some mind flare influence. What's the lore?
The lore is that a beholder was brought back to an elder brain and underwent metamorphosis. The same way that mind flayers reproduce is they take little mind flayer tadpoles that they lay, mm-hmm. and they stick it in a human's ear, and it goes and like eats their brain, and the human body transforms into a mind flayer.
Okay, so I didn't know that. That's weird. Yeah, so we encountered one of those who was devoid of a master because, as we came to find out, the Mind Flayer colony, the Elder Brain, was in the process of being destroyed, or was destroyed.
It was destroyed. But this Mind Witness was roaming the caverns looking for any sort of psionic, any sort of telepathic creature or just other creature that it could bond to.
So
and it found some flumps.
It ended up bonding to Otto, who loves having pets. So not only is he in control of Ruka, our crawling claw, he's now in control of Blue, our fucking mind witness, who is essentially our telepathic walkie-talkie, as a way for all of us to communicate without having to speak out loud, which I fucking got Otto's ass. Because I'll keep
Talk
this as
about it.
spoiler free as possible to avoid some.
Let's talk about it.
Oh fuck, that's some leggy. Um,
My
to
dog is
avoid
looking at me very concerned.
to avoid some quote unquote Dragon Deep Water heist spoilers. Um, Ano has romanced one of the characters who is secretly a Rakshasa. And we all know that the character's a Rakshasa, and we all know that Ano knows that the character is a Rakshasa and that they have some sort of bond. But up until this point, we didn't know what exactly. So Soleil's like, "Hey, Otto, let's play a word association game." So show Connor is doing some obscene gestures. So Leia's just like, "Oh, show me what you're thinking of when I say this," and use some pretty benign examples to make him feel comfortable. And then was like, "All right, what do you think of when I say insert character's name here?" And boy, howdy, we got enough mental pictures to figure out. We didn't get explicit mental pictures, but we got the walk home mental pictures. So Leia's just like, and Otto was not too happy, but we got even more lore later. But yeah, no. So after we got our walkie-talkie, we did some skill. We did a skill challenge avoiding this battle that was between Aboleth and some.
It's called a Neothalid.
Neothalid, that's what it was.
It is, so those mind flayer tadpoles that they use to reproduce.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever the Elder Brain was destroyed, all the mind flayer tadpoles that were in its little vat, they couldn't be inserted into new hosts. They couldn't mature. So they started starving. Oh. One of them ate the rest of them.
Oh.
That's what it became.
Oh. See how much lore Connor pulls out of the ass when he doesn't prepare?
I'll talk about this a little bit more, but like I had a week. I'm like, I don't want them to fight anything, but like I wanted a mind witness to be there, and I wanted some slumps.
Yeah.
But like, I can't have a mind witness without there being a mind flayer colony. But I didn't want them to fight mind flayers, so I'm like, okay. I didn't want a mind flayer colony to be there because there was no lore in Critical Role about there being a mind flayer colony underneath Iman.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that there couldn't have been one and that it was destroyed.
Yeah.
And what y'all saw were like the last thrashes of one.
Yeah. But the battle got close to a bridge that we were crossing, so we had to do a skill challenge. And we succeeded. Got into a little fight with some haggy type creatures. Encountered Jace, and pretty much before Jace even had a chance to act, fucking destroyed his ass.
Yeah, I had made Jace a threat for level 1 characters, but I wanted y'all to be able to get him at level 5. And y'all did.
Fucking obliterated him. He's like, "You're gonna die," and we killed him within 6 seconds, and not even that long. So yeah, now we're down in this underground Aboleth city called
Solar.
And we're like, all right, well, we should probably get out of here before this not Hag, that Jace is working with Trista notices our presence when all of a sudden,
Well, hello, dearies.
fuck. So we thought maybe something bad would happen to us, but
Instead, y'all have some D&D therapy.
she was extremely accommodating, gave us tea, and swear to God, we had an in-game D&D therapy session, which, funnily enough, because my character was in springtime form, it was very interesting. Basically, all of her perceptions of events were tinged with like that springtime euphoria. So she was just like, I have no problems. Everything's great. Everything's fantastic. I don't have any traumas, which, depending on the season, that answer could have been wildly different. But that was just the mood she approached it in. So it was very funny to me, just her fucking be like, no, everything's great. Meanwhile, Otto, Krevny, and Glide are just like unloading baggage on this fucking hag woman.
I mean, and she was there to talk it out. Y'all had helped her tie up a loose end.
Yeah. Krevny, got Chaos into fulfilling a thing for the favor for her, which is just speaking to this dead person, but whatever, simple stuff. But yeah, no, Connor literally walked us through a fucking therapy session, which I think the characters needed, especially Glide. Fucking Glide had a lot he was holding on to.
Yeah, and well, see, Ginger Benji had asked me just like, hey, look, I think I need something to push him into like that backstory, and so I'm like, okay, well, let me temper out your emotions or your character's emotions real quick.
Yeah,
because I think that we need that, and that might be a good way to like get you back in the mindset of like, hey, duty, let me go back over here and see all that wonderful stuff that's in the Flames Reach.
Yeah.
The stuff that I actually prepared for.
It was also fucking delicious because Otto was trying to lie to us at one point about what he planned to do after this was all said and done. But unbeknownst to the party, we had been zoned truthed. And he failed that save and revealed to all of us his plan to open up a business with his lover, who he revealed was his lover, and make enough money to leave him on one day. And fucking got him. It was fantastic. But no, I think it was very much needed. I think there were a lot of regrets that the other three characters were holding on to, and I think they were able to work through them with some very skilled therapy on Trista/Connor's part.
I've been listening to some of the worst self-help books.
Let's book review.
Let's not, because I don't want to talk bad on someone who actually went to the trouble of like publishing a book.
Okay, that's fair.
But yeah, and I ran through their D&D session how I run like daily stand-up meetings for my actual job.
LMAO.
Well,
I'm glad you were able to tap into that skill you already possess. It was great. But no, we have the plot thread set up for another side quest. The thing that you actually prepared for.
Now that bar's been raised.
Yeah.
I got prepared for it. There are like 2 encounters.
Yeah. Whoa.
A whole 2.
Amazing.
But I was able to give glide a few like backstory items, which are going to be.
Oh yeah, you gave him a badass ring. Yeah, he'll be able to do some cool shit with that.
That ring's important.
Ooh, ooh. Hopefully, hopefully he'll be able to pick up on that.
Oh, he has.
Okay, good.
I had mentioned it before, like a long time ago, as part of a dream sequence, but.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember whenever he saw this womanly figure that could potentially be his mom.
I'm raising my eyebrows.
Yeah, we're getting some eyebrow wiggles.
But yeah, any other games that we want to talk about?
Oh, I had one more I was in, but I can make this kind of brief. We had our session 1 for Storms and Stars, our last for the Awful Sea campaign, which was super cool. I was in the presence of the lovely, skilled people who frequent off the table, and I, felt inadequate in their presence. No, not quite, but it was a little intimidating because they're all fantastic role players, and it's very interesting because all their characters are very subtle, reserved, very good at treating social interactions with the respect they deserve. And there's fucking Dagny. Who is not subtle, not polite, very much wears her heart on her sleeve and will tell you like it is and how she feels, which is very interesting in a game like Alas, which is there are consequences for violence and violent actions, and there's more, it's very much a social game and how you navigate the social spheres and with themes of poverty and class imbalance and what have you. And that is not Dagny's forte. Not very subtle at all. So all these characters are going about these social interactions in a graceful way, and Dagny's fucking cursing up a storm and just is a fucking drunkard. Drinks way more than anyone should, but is somehow still able to navigate a ship. And yeah, just cusses up a fucking storm and is not super polite. Loves her captain though, and probably loves her captain a little too much, if you know what I'm saying. Wink wonk.
Wink wonk.
Has a love-hate relationship with the ship's doctor, who thinks that Dagny is fucking doomed to self-destruction. But Dagny disregards all of her advice and has an interesting relation with the scholar stowaway passenger on the ship. Not a stowaway, an actual passenger, who she's just like, oh, you poor thing, you read books, that's so boring. Why don't you do something real, like, I don't know, gut a fish with your bare hands? So, and is very kind of blunt with her about that. So, it's very interesting, and I'm excited to see how this continues to play out, and I hope in future sessions, which I know it'll happen, that one or more of the characters is able to elicit the more human side of Dagny, not just the bravado that she puts out, and is able to understand why she acts the way she does. I likened her to a 7-layer bean dip of emotions. Because that's true. She's got lots of levels of emotions to mask her pain.
She is so full of beans.
So many beans.
Gosh, you're so full of beans today.
But that's the gist of that. So let's cut to a break. Let's re-up. Let's
Yeah, let's re-up. Let's. I gotta pee.
How are we gonna transition? How are we gonna do this break?
I'm just thinking of like mariachi music.
Mariachi music with like a very festive cockroach.
Yes. just a little cockroach.
With like maybe a little sombrero.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me. Let's
Cool.
do it.
Yeah. Sober Connor, get on it.
All right, toodaloo.
So now that we're done talking about our OCs,
I would just like to say, before we get on topic, that I came back and intimidated the fuck out of Connor by popping open a wine bottle and drinking straight from it.
we never actually. Kyle with an N, what were you drinking?
Oh shit, we missed an integral part of our show. Well, frequent listeners of the show know that I'm, I suppose, pretty basic in the drinks that I drink. So, per usual, I was drinking a rum and Coke. And now I am drinking White Zinfandel straight from the bottle. What about you?
So, after my stream, because I actually did not drink during the stream, started a little bit late, and yeah, I am a struggling single father. Trying my best. After the session, I made a ginger lime Coke, Diet Coke, and gin.
Oh, how was that?
It was good. It was tasty. It burned a little bit at the end, but that was the ginger, not the gin. And then during our first half of the show, I was drinking some Monster and gin.
A classic Cybrwulf combo.
And now, because I gotta wake up in the morning and figure out what's going on with Dragon Heist.
I gotta do my 5 seconds of planning.
I have some water to cap off the night.
Yeah, very responsible. Also, I'm sorry I had to miss your stream tonight. How did it go?
I kept getting to things and then like forgetting what I was doing.
Oh, so classic.
So like I went up Death Mountain and like got a Korok seed, and then like forgot that I went up there for a memory, and like jumped off a cliff. Instead of like getting the memory.
Efficient.
Yeah. It was a lot of shit like that.
I'm sad I missed out, but I will be there for the next one.
So before we streamed, while I was running around trying to, I don't know, practice self-care. Not even self-care, just taking care of myself and my dog. Running errands. You had actually come up with a really neat thing for this particular episode of Let's Talk About It.
Yeah, because we're really good at planning this show. We give it Connor levels of prep. So, very last minute, I decided, hey, what if we kind of took some, for our second half, kind of took some like viewer questions and see what people wanted to learn about us. So I entreated the people of Twitter to ask questions. And, if I had given it more time, we would have gotten some more, but we got a few pretty good ones, and I think since this first half ran a little long, if we're not able to prolong this part for too long, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it just gives Sober Connor less stuff to edit.
yeah, because this last episode already was so much for Sober Connor. It's okay. You did it, though.
I'm going to let him respond to it.
This video segment of Sober Connor being like, what the fuck? I do so much, and I am a single fuck. Oh, lady. Good girl.
She's so good. She's such a good girl. She's laying
So,
on her little stuffed duck.
no.
Oh, now she's falling. Oh my god.
Oh, she put her head on his lap. This is too good. Oh, I was gonna say something else, but now I gotta soak this all in. But you people can't even.
It is way past Lee's bedtime.
Oh, can she not go to bed while you're awake?
I mean, her has been sleeping.
Oh, okay. So
I realized today that she is pretty close to figuring out how to get out of her kennel. But she's actually like, she's going to bend the bars to tear it apart.
Oh no. She's too strong, too smart.
I bent them back, but oh my god, it's gonna get bad pretty soon. Too smart.
So,
yeah,
I have some questions curated from the Twitterverse, which thank you to everyone who sent in questions.
Yeah.
Nice of you. So I'm just gonna kind of go through and read the ones that I like. Which, let's start off light. I want to go with this one, which is from @cc-2224, otherwise known as Dave, friend of the channel, by the way. Part of my Monster of the Week game. And he asks us simply, yeet or yoink?
Pointing at myself. This bitch empty. Yeet.
Honestly, same. The pure power of a yeet, I don't think can stand up to a yoink. Well, yeah. Yoinks are funny. It's kind of just like, oh, yoink.
It's like just a little bitty like yoink, but like yeets are full body, powerful throws. Like of the two primal forces that are yeet and yoink, we have to go with the yeet.
Yeah, no contest. The yeet is the powerhouse here. Although, to its credit, I do love a good yoink. But if you're making me choose between my two loves, definitely going with the yeet. I fucking love it. I love that question. So this question comes from at rjustice282. So friend of the channel, RJ, rjustice, who plays in games with both of us. Monster of the Week on my part.
Indoor Adventures on mine.
So, once again, another this or this question. So, drama or lore?
So, this is the question that I was referencing earlier. I love some good lore. But in RPGs, if you want good lore, just read a book. Like I love good lore. I prefer that presented in a more dramatic fashion. Like, I could have let y'all know that there was in our Amon Dragon Heist game. I could have let y'all know that, hey, in my particular version of Amon, there is a freshly dead mind flayer colony, and the last thirds of it are this neophyllid and this mind witness. Or I can have y'all encounter a mind witness that is bonded with some flumps and was looking for a new master, and have y'all complete a skill challenge traversing across these caverns while some avalists are trying to take down this neophyllid that is tearing apart this cavern.
Ooh.
Like, you're getting the details. It's there. But I'd rather the narrative stay focused on y'all and how these things affect you. And like, once again, I love lore. I know it's been a running thing on multiple channels that I've been a part of, that I like to be considered a lore master, lore keeper.
Like on your own channel?
Like on my own channel, it's become a thing in the Indoor Adventures channel as well.
True.
One of the very first things that Kylen and I bonded over whenever we first met was that we were both members of the International Thespian Society in high school.
That's true.
So we are both
drama kids.
We are both drama kids, both drama nerds. So, whenever it comes drama or lore, it's drama. It's always drama.
Oh my goodness. I am ashamed of myself. I believe I have typecasted you. I was like, oh, I'm sure Connor's going to pick lore. If not out of seriousness, then for the memes. No, drama, which, once again, I am inclined to agree with you.
Same hat.
Same hat.
Same theater mask.
Truly, because I am fantastic at retaining information in RPGs, which, in case you couldn't tell, that is sarcasm and a lie. I'm that person where you describe the room to me and I have no idea what's going on. But that's because I'm not very good at information that is only presented orally. Just because just pure auditory information doesn't cut it for me. So I need like visual and auditory is the best way I retain something. So most of the time, lore in tabletop RPGs, unless I'm able to read it and see it, I don't really retain. And honestly, it's not even like the biggest driving part of the game for me. I fucking love drama. Like Connor said, I am a theater kid by heart. I love tugging on those emotional heartstrings. And ever since I've gotten into the world of TTRPGs, I love transferring that to both the people who play with me and, since I'm in the streaming world, the people who watch me play. And I love drama so much that I want to cause it at the expense of my own emotional state and my own character's well-being. I fucking love throwing myself under the bus if that means there's any sort of entertainment value to be had. No, I love it. Any sort of inter-party relationships, conflict, backstory, anything, I love it. That, for me, is the meat and potatoes of why we do what we do. You know, it's not just rules as written, hack and slash, what have you, dungeon crawling. It's the human, or I guess not so human, relationships and, you know, emotions and storytelling. I'm very much in that camp. Um, so much so to the detriment of myself and the characters I create. Like in Monster of the Week, I'm always joking, just like kill Lemmy, destroy him. To which everyone's like, no, protect Lemmy, he's the best boy.
Great question, though.
Yeah.
Great question. Of course,
Yeah.
my real answer is both, but drama.
Yeah.
Drama to frame the lore.
My real answer is I'm very biased towards drama, though. I kind of want to go with this one next. So, this is from, excuse me. I swear I'm over my cold. I'm no longer sick. I just have a residual cough.
Careful. I don't want to catch a computer virus.
catch my illness. This is from Emily on Twitter, who used to go by @BarbarianYasha, but now goes by @WitchingBolt. Okay. So friend of the channel @WitchingBolt. I actually met her at Gen Con. She's such a lovely, nice person. So sweet. Very sweet. My goodness, just one of the sweetest people. But she had a question that I found to be just so interesting. Are there areas of D&D or tabletop RPGs in general you struggle with? For example, roleplay, combat, etc.
So I mentioned a little bit earlier that I have trouble staying engaged with a character long term. Now, long term being like 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I've been fortunate enough to have been in campaigns that have lasted that long.
That's true.
But yeah, staying engaged with characters for that long has been a struggle, which I'm working toward by like coming up with lore and coming up with other like points of conflict that can be brought up that I get excited to have brought up. I'm trying to come up with a way to phrase this so I don't sound like an asshole, but it's kind of that I become an asshole that's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I play like highly tactical characters,
yeah,
I get so involved in like making optimal moves and like making sure that everything works out the way that I expected to, that it kind of becomes frustrating whenever something goes wrong.
Okay.
And so specifically I'm thinking of the game where you were playing Dagny and I was playing Ayla. And at one point I got like wind-walled into a final boss.
Okay. To be fair, you jumped into the airstream.
I did. Because I thought that this would be pretty tactical. But I ended up being knocked out because of some rule. I don't know.
Yeah, you got like knocked into like a moonlight or something.
Yeah, something like that. But like I gotten so upset because like it I was getting into like the geometry. It was just like, no, I wouldn't have done this if this thing was in this space, and I got heated, and it just makes me not want to play tactical characters at all. I like making dumb decisions.
So like letting go and like not being optimal.
Yeah, it's hard for me to play, or it's hard for me to play optimal characters because I get so invested in it.
Yeah, no. Whenever I was first playing D&D, I because I almost have like a perfectionist streak within me. I only wanted to make the most optimal moves and choices at all times, to the point that there was like a one shot that we played in where I didn't make optimal choices and ended up where we got kind of a bad ending, which was very much narratively interesting. You remember the one with like the cultists and the pit fiend and
Oh, yeah, with sibling tour. And
yeah, and I ended up betraying one of the party members, and which was like, and then we ended up like running away together, almost in a romantic way. Like it was so interesting narratively, but afterwards, like I beat myself up way more than necessary because I was like, oh my god, we didn't get the good ending. It's all my fault. I could have done like 10 different things differently, yada yada yada, which is like, thinking back on it, it's such bullshit because like it's not about getting the best result possible. It's just about being in character and doing things that are fun. So and this is something that I like struggle to work with just because of that perfectionist streak and like that sense of anxiety that I have. The goblin voice, if you will, it's just like, you're ruining everything for everyone. Um, but I've been able to fight those and defeat those pretty successfully in those regards, and just be like, no, shut up. It's fun making suboptimal decisions. It's not fun to always succeed at everything the first try and be perfect. It's fun to have flaws and quirks and setbacks and uh to the point where this past game that we were playing on Friday, I'm like, oh, let me just clean up and help this enemy that's trying to attack us, which is very much in character for me, but it was very much a setback for the party. But I think it was still fun. It made it interesting. You didn't die. Now, if you did die, I would have felt very guilty. So, but yeah, no. Oh, I think the pendulum has swung so far back in the other direction that I'm almost like masochistic, where I'm just like, yes, please, let me make dumbass decisions and kill me and my character. So perhaps one day I will achieve a happy medium. But yeah, no, I get that. I was once there in that place trying to be optimal all the time, but it's so much more freeing to not be,
yeah, that's definitely something that I recognize, and that's why if I can avoid playing a tactical character, then that's something that I definitely want to do. Right now, I am playing a very tactical character on Indoor Adventures, and thankfully that's all theater of the mind. So like, I'm not gonna be getting involved with like the geometry and everything.
Yeah.
But he seems to be doing all right.
Yeah. I just, let me let you guys on a little secret. Low wisdom characters, the way to go. Just let yourself be free of having to plan out those all those intricacies. Empty your mind.
But really good question. I really like questions that make us talk about things that we want to improve on.
Yeah. Oh, you know what mine is?
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. So mine is I'm pretty be okay at battle, especially with characters I'm more familiar with. Like Bards in 5e, I have the action economy down pat. Connor's nodding in agreement, not to toot my own horn. I know exactly what I want to do always, what spell I want to throw out, when I want to do bardic inspiration, all that good stuff. With classes I'm not as familiar with, like monk today, I do a little more searching, but I think I'm still familiar enough with like 5e and the rules and the general flow of combat that besides specific questions, I'm able to get along just fine.
Okay.
My struggle that I've been dealing with recently is like almost like RP anxiety. It's just like, am I being too much? Like, is my character being too annoying? Am I talking too much? Am I talking too little? Just trying to find a balance with the other players, the scene, and just like myself. Mostly myself. Because I am a self-saboteur. I am my own worst enemy. So regardless of whether I choose to pull back or push forward, my brain is always telling me, no, no, that wasn't the right decision. You took away time from someone else, or oh no, you should have jumped in at that moment. Always, my brain's always fighting with me in that respect, to which I have to tell it to be quiet sometimes. But an effective tool with that is just hearing the feedback of others. So, whenever I hear people that I play with, especially with those that I don't play with, often like new people I play with, whenever they're like, oh, it was so much fun getting to play with you, and I really liked when you did this. That's a little more like external evidence that I can hold up to my brain and be like, ha, see, you're wrong. So, my goodness, I feel like these last few episodes have been a little heavy issues in terms of mental health, but
I mean, good.
Let's talk about it.
Now, I struggle with the same, a very similar thing. I noticed that specifically like during the last little things on Prairie Stars, there were a couple of like jokes that my character had made that just like didn't get any response, or maybe were like a little untimely. So like I definitely got that like role play like should I not have done that? That's stupid. In a very similar way to your low wisdom character, I make low charisma characters. So
that's true. Now that I think about it.
So I can hide those failed jokes behind it's like, oh, it's my character, or having that low charisma helps me be a little bit more brave in my role play.
Interesting.
Because with those characters, I typically do that as either they're shy and unconfident and are trying their best, or they're an asshole. Or they're an asshole trying their best.
Fair.
Either way, they're trying their best.
Yes.
But yeah, I definitely, I definitely do understand the like, am I being too much or too little? In fact, in my very first episode on Indoor Adventures, LB had told me, it's like, their friend was just like, is Blake okay? Like, he doesn't seem like he really wants to like talk, and it's like, no, it's a character.
It's in character, but it's also me.
Well, in a very similar way to like Marisha Ray's thing for Keyleth, like this was like a new campaign. I didn't like I didn't know how I was going to feel about like the DMing or the DM style and everything. I love it now,
Yeah.
and I love all the people that I'm playing with now. That's
Yeah.
we see that both in me being braver in my role play during that series, and Blake becoming more open to the rest of his party. Um, in a very similar way to Mersha, bringing Keyleth into a leader role through Critical Role 1.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you feel like you're taking on more of a leader role like Keyleth did.
Yeah. Blake is Keyleth. Blake is the Blood Hunter Keyleth.
Yes. So so you go from making awkward speeches about bacon to actually, being an inspiring, charismatic person. No, I feel that. My first episode um in Pro Restarters Dragon Knights, which was only like the second time I had ever, like RP'd, and like the first time I was doing it in like a long term sense and
Mm-hmm.
not just like a shit post character. I was so nervous. I don't know if that translated into how I acted, but I was just like, oh god, how do I want to go about this? Especially since I made such a asshole of a character. It was just so funny. I always have like these great ideas of these boisterous characters, and then when I go to RP them, especially in a public setting, I'm like, oh god, what is too much? But I think as I'm going along, it's just like, okay, you know, you know, like when enough is enough. Like you know what people are comfortable with. You know, kind of the beats of storytelling now. You know when to pull back. You know when to contribute. And maybe every now and then you'll accidentally talk over someone. It happens. It's okay. It's not that big a deal. It'll be fine. The story will be told.
Mm-hmm.
And the campaigns I'm a part of now, it's very great that we have such tools and chatting to where we have things in place where people can be like, hey, I want to have the time to be able to talk to this person about this, and being able to allow time for those scenes to play out. So, it's another one of those things where it's like, brain, hush. I'm confident and I'm capable. When I mess up, it's not that big a deal. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Emily, for the very interesting question.
Very introspective question.
Ah, yes, I love that shit. So now these next few questions, I'm gonna go get a couple questions from your, my, and our beloved
Friend of the
Arsqueef.
channel, Arsqueef.
Pew, pew. Fart noises. um, I'm gonna. I think I'm choosing to go with this one first. So this one says, "What adventure would WotC have to release for you to want to buy it and run it immediately?" And I know my answer, but I'm gonna let you answer first if you have something.
I had already done that with Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
Really?
I literally started running that the week after it came out.
But like, was it something that you read the description? You were like, "Oh hell yeah, I want this. I want to run this immediately."
Yes.
Really?
I'm like, this sounds really cool, and I really want to do this.
Okay.
Now,
Like, what about it made you feel that way?
so it was an urban adventure
Okay.
that had a lot of interesting factions and characters. It seemed to be a lot more social based, and not a lot of dungeons.
Yeah, we don't really do those that often. Those urban adventures.
No, which like it makes sense because like it's you're an adventurer. If you're a player character in Dungeons and Dragons, you're sort of expected to want to adventure, like
Yeah.
blaze a trail, find cool stuff, delve into dungeons and recover artifacts Indiana Jones style. But
Naturally.
oh my gosh, I hate running dungeons so much. I
Okay. But there are ways to do those kinds of adventures without running dungeons. You could just do random encounters, but you know,
I
how
just
many random encounters do you feel comfortable doing?
I just think it gets boring.
Yeah.
Like I want social interactions. I want drama. I want everything that thankfully I did get out of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Uh,
Oh, we're having such a fun time with it. We never want it to end.
uh, so Wizards of the Coast already has two adventures that I wanted to buy and run immediately, and it was Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and the other one was Curse of Strahd.
Oh, I fucking knew it was Curse of Strahd. How did you enjoy Curse of Strahd?
Oh, Curse of Strahd was wonderful. Like it was the first campaign that I like ran from the book, uh,
Yes.
and I think this the sandbox world where like you have all these things that are advised for a particular level, but like um, the characters are free to go around Barovia as they wish. Um, I love how the adventure is set up, and there are dungeons. They don't have to be run quite like dungeons. Um, like if you don't want to run all the encounters in Arkenbostold or Castle Ravenloft, you don't have to, and
Yeah.
it turns out just as creepy and horrible as if you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of very interesting characters and uh, lots of spooky shit and lots of interesting lore and uh, story threads that help you figure out what's going on.
Oh yeah. You know, it almost feels like that Curse of Strahd gets overhyped in the D&D community, but like once you play through it, it's a
It's
good.
really good. It's written really well. Um, now, I, I I will answer the question eventually. I own every Wizard of the Coast published adventure
Ooh,
in
flex on us real quick.
in two forms. I have all the hardback books on my shelf. I got them all through Amazon,
Okay, flex, Daddy Connor.
and I also have them on D&D Beyond.
Ooh, money bags.
Uh, but well, see, if you buy them on Amazon and on D&D Beyond, it's $25 for each,
Okay.
which is exactly how much you would pay at a friendly local game store.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I like being able to use everything on D&D Beyond because I think it's a good tool for running games.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit pricey, but yeah, Wizards of the Coast gets to do what they want.
If you're running strictly online games, which unfortunately our friend group has to do, it's a lifesaver of a tool.
Yeah, it especially if like you have one person who has a subscription and all the content that you need.
Yeah.
But I like reading the physical book. Like unfortunately, D&D Beyond does only does like the one column layout, but like
Mm.
Watson knew what they were doing whenever they did two columns per page.
Yeah.
So having the physical book to look through is really good. So I have all the books. So whatever Wizard of the Coast releases, I'm probably going to buy it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, for them to make an adventure that I would want to run, I would want there to be um, some a really cool cast of characters that hopefully my players would care about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want there to be I don't want there to be dungeons or massive dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to run Princess of the Apocalypse before, and unfortunately, the whole damn book is one dungeon.
Yeah.
You think it's 5 dungeons? It's not. It's one dungeon. It's
Oh.
one really big fucking dungeon.
Oh.
Uh, and I was just like, this is not sustainable. This is not something that I want to do. Uh, which is unfortunate because like there's some really cool monsters and encounters in that book, but oh my gosh, I don't want to run dungeons. Uh, it needs to be structured in a way where I'm not like grasping at straws. Uh, what's it? Storm King's Thunder is an adventure that I would really like to run, but one of the chapters, chapter 3, is very much loosey goosey. Like you need the characters to do this, this, and this. Here's the entire fucking North Faerun that they would be
Oh.
going through. Here's what happens. Here's what could happen at all these places. How do you guide your players to go do this and that? I don't know. That's up to them.
So it's a little too much freedom.
Yeah. Uh, not that it's too much freedom for like the players and everything, but like if you're a dungeon master, I would want the tools there to be able to guide my players in the direction that fits the narrative. Like I understand that like some people were like, oh well that's too railroady, but like if you're running an adventure from a module, I mean,
A little bit of railroad is expected.
yeah, you kind of need to want to go along with the adventure.
Yeah.
Says the person who's making a like closet Tiamat cultist in War of the Dragon Queen.
So what I'm hearing is that Waterdeep Dragon Heist and Curse of Strahd have the right amount of freedom and direction for you to want to pick those up and run them.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, both of those adventures start with a very clear thesis. Either you need to kill Strahd, or you need to find
You need to fuck Strahd.
you need to heist the dragon.
Yes.
They set you in a really cool environment that doesn't require a lot of dungeon delving, and there are really cool characters throughout the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
I would want something with that, but in a different setting.
Yeah. What kind of setting?
I don't think Wizards of the Coast would release anything but like Sword Coast. But like if they did anything for like Eberron, that'd be cool.
I thought they were releasing an Eberron book.
Well, yeah, they released Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron,
but not an Eberron adventure.
No.
Well, I feel like the D&D 5e hype is at such a high right now that they could release any sort of adventure in any sort of setting and get away with it. And, they probably should. The hobby probably has more fans than, dare I say, it ever has.
You know what it would be a really good setting that I really want, and I would really love to run an adventure in? Planescape.
Oh, tell me about Planescape.
So it's pretty much all the city of Sigil.
Mm-hmm.
The city of doors. It's like the center of the multiverse, where all the outer planes sort of like meet.
Yeah.
I really want Holly Conrad to work on that setting book.
Yeah, like
Holly Conrad does a lot of really cool stuff with Sigil in her Trapped in the Birdcage series.
Guide to
Sigil.
Sigil. Here we go. Free idea, Watsy and Holly Conrad.
Holly Conrad, you're so busy, but I think it would be so fun for you to do. Uh, yeah, that was a lot of ideas. I don't know if it was like an actual adventure that Wizards of the Coast would have to release, but yeah,
Yeah, I think
cool.
that made sense.
Oh, and anything Green Roland, it's not WotC, but anything Green Roland does with Exandria, if they release it, Exandria Adventures,
Oh yeah,
that'd be cool to run.
gobble that shit up. Oh.
But what about you? What would
Hmm.
you like to run if you had to run from a module?
I've had a few ideas floating around. Most most of them is like uh the one that is module based. I would homebrew it a tiny bit. So I agree with you in the sense that perhaps one day, um, given a little time, just because it's semi fresh for our friend group, I would love to run Curse of Strahd, but with one caveat.
Shot as a woman.
Strahd is a woman. Strahd is a hot fucking woman. As a chaotic bisexual. uh,
I think Shot is a chaotic bisexual.
True. But I would not fall prey for Strahd because he's kind of a gross, weird man. But I would absolutely fall for a female Strahd. I would let her step on me. So, like, it would be entirely the same. Like, every other character would be the same. There would still be a Tatiana. I'm not gonna gender bend that because we can have woman on woman romance. Like, that's fine. No, I would just change Straw to be a woman. Very hot, powerful woman. But not like a super, like, you know, way too sexy woman. She would still be very powerful and fearful and not just like some sex object. But yeah, no. That, that's my that's my one caveat to
Uh,
Christmas Straw.
but if WotC was releasing something new, what would you?
Something new. Did you already say you would like to see an Everon campaign?
Uh, an Eberron adventure, yeah.
I would like to see something like that because I have my own ideas of homebrew Everon business, but you know,
Now, D&D did release a like Eberron Adventures League campaign
okay,
that I might like to look into. Uh, you know, in the free time that I have to run more shit. Uh, yeah. Uh, I don't know. The Adventures League stuff is pretty. It is also pretty rowdy because like stuff has to be done
yeah,
within 4
it's
hours.
pretty cut and dry.
But
But,
I mean, some of the stuff's good.
yeah, I mean, I would be interested, but I think I have enough of my own ideas floating around that maybe I wouldn't want to prescribe to a module. So that's kind of a maybe. But I think what I really want, and this is very much like Kylen's wants, wishes, and fantasies, is I, for one, am a slut for the Feywild. Any sort of Fey lore, Fey creatures, anything. I gobble that shit up. Therefore, if there was a published WotC adventure set in like the Feywild,
Or
some
just
sort
like
of
visited the Feywild.
yeah, like going to the Feywild, dealing with some sort of maybe like Fey politics and adventuring through that weird, wonderful space. Like, I would gobble that shit up like hotcakes. I would love to run that. I love the the chaos, the intrigue, the weird, funky politics of the Feywild. Love it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of official references on any of the Feywild. And in fact, before Jordan with the silent PH in the middle, released his Archfey video last week at the time of recording. I didn't know that there was like a Frost King Archfey that actually seems really fucking cool.
Yeah, no, I think that's, there's some bits and pieces. I feel like there's almost more in like the Tal'Dorei campaign guide than there is in the official WotC material, but I feel like that's such a gap. Like, you have this weird, wonderful plane of existence. Why not, capitalize on that? And also, too, to maybe get a little sidetracked, I feel like you could almost tap into more playable races that are Feywild, like a playable satyr race. I think would be really cool. Other things like there's a wealth of creatures and fun time stuff where I see lots of people like homebrewing and putting on DM's Guild, but come on, WotC. I feel like there's demand out there. You could do this. You could capitalize on this, but I'm very biased. So I guess my official answer is Feywild Fun Time Adventure. I would run that shit so quick.
Good question.
Very, very good question, Arsqueeve.
Very, very, very much getting into our tastes and adventures that we like to run.
So, our last question from the evening also comes from our beloved Arsqueeve, and it's a two-parter. Mm-hmm. It's one question for me and one question for you. So I'll ask yours first. He says to you, best player you've ever DM'd for. And as a caveat to both of us, I'll get to my question in a second. He says, your answers to these questions determine whether or not we stay friends or not.
Well, first off, let me just say that, I mean, it's Kylen.
Me?
with an honorable mention, because like I just randomly like reached out to Arsqueeve, just being like, hey, Kylen and TSB and possibly one other person who is Ginger Benji. We're gonna play I was thinking of running RD Dragon Heist, but like in Amon. Mm-hmm. Do you think you would like want to play in that? And he said yeah, and we first time I ran for him, first time like he was at our table, and like there wasn't nearly as much of an adjustment period as a lot of groups were. It was just really cool to see like someone vibe so well with the group at first sight, and that was awesome.
We had been like friends for like all the rest of us except for him have been friends for years, had like history together, and the fact that he was able to like mesh in with that so quick and like not be nervous from the get-go and hop right into the RP was like awesome.
And then make such bold character choices during the game, like I'm gonna fuck a Rakshasa.
I'm gonna fuck a Rakshasa. My God, champion move.
But unfortunately, or fortunately, Kylen.
Oh, okay. Brag on me for a second. How come?
I mean, we've been talking about it all throughout this episode. Like, you're always making character choices that are very true for you. Your character concepts are very original and always very fun, very, very interesting. You're exploring a lot with all of them, and you seem to be absolutely in love with all of them, and it's just so fun to see. And like, I may be behind the scenes, like trying to figure out like what's the lore and everything, what needs to happen to make sense in my head. But like you do seem to engage with it whenever it's presented. Like you do want to know the mysteries, even if you say that you're not trying to be a lore master.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Oh, bitch. Oh, thank you. It's so kind.
Now it's your turn. But
Okay. So my question was, the best player you've ever played with, which is so incredibly hard because I've had the opportunity to play with so many talented players, especially since I've been introduced to the wide internet world of RP people. So like, I cannot name just one. I have to shout out so many of the people that I play with. First of all, just because it's very topical and fresh on the mind, the people that I played with tonight on Greyhawks on the Greyhawk channel, awesome, amazing role players. Like, my God, like that's real human emotion, real human interactions. Very much, very much so. Like, amazing, always on top of it. So big shout outs and props to them. Also big shout out and props to a lot of people on Off the Table, like Summer, Dingo, Katie, Narcissus, uh, those folks. So very much on top of it too. But of course, I think I would contribute that to the awesome, great chemistry that they have together. You know, they know how to push and pull each other in such amazing ways, um, and just excellent storytellers, always with the story. They say they're about the smooches, but beyond the smooches, they know how to tell such a riveting story, and it's awesome to be included with them. And yeah, no, I also have to give big shout outs to my favorite home group, my ride or dies, my One Dragon Heist people, and my heroes of my heroes of Adora people. Oh man, I love that group. I think we have such great energy. We play off each other so well. We know when to poke and prod and tease and when to really dig into each other drama wise and play off of each other. And it's it's very cool to see the choices that everyone makes. Um, you know, we're mostly, all of us are like not to be a call out post, but all of us are more like more experienced with the game. But then you have Ginger Benji, who is not as experienced with the game, but still very much like a dramatic, like thespian storytelling person in heart, who makes such interesting choices. And you know, same to everyone else, but yeah, no, it's just the energy and the vibes. Like I always leave those games with just huge smile on my face, and just always, just chatting about them when TS being just like, oh, man, you remember this, and wasn't it cool when we did this, and like, that for me is like the best. Like, I say drama is the forefront, but really it's the group camaraderie that is like so important. Because like, at the end of the day, if your group doesn't mesh, doesn't jive, like, you can do all you want. You can do these cool moves in battle, you can do these dramatic moments, but it's like it's the human connection, like the D&D as the social experience, that's really the driving force. And if that's not present, it's missing the heart aspect to it that really just makes D&D the game you want to come back to again and again and again. So that's my spiel. That's my I guess the short answer to that is it's very hard for me to pick because I had the pleasure of playing with such amazing people, and I have to shout them all out.
Yeah. I've DM'd for quite a few really good folks. So many. And I literally got into the hobby with one game, and then immediately started DMing. So I've been doing it for a minute. A minute, as in like 3 years.
A hot minute.
4 years. Which is not long at all, but like, I just want to. But I DM for a lot of really great people, which just I was able to look at this earlier, and yeah, I mean, Kylen already knows that I want her in every game that I run, so.
That's true.
But we love you, AQ.
Yeah. So, don't defriend us. Our answer was fairly complimentary. So, with that brings an end to the viewer questions, and
it's a really great note to end on. So
yeah, and with that, I think it also brings the end to season 1 of this shindig.
Yeah, join us back for season 2, which is the same exact season, or same exact fucking format, same exact fucking show.
But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this first little season of content. We're very inconsistent of how we scheduled the season, but and perhaps the next time you'll see us will be new, improved, got some shiny new upgrades in some places. We got some eyebrow wiggles going on,
and maybe we'll retrograde in others.
Yeah, maybe we'll have some new exciting topics, maybe some new and exciting guests. We have some ideas cooking up that we'll plan out more. But again, thank you so much to everyone who tunes in and listens to this stupid brainchild of ours. I mean, we always say that even if no one listened to this fucking show, we would continue on anyway because we love the idea of it and we love spending the time together talking to each other while heavily intoxicated.
Yeah.
But it's really, it's nothing. It's a real driving force to have people listen and enjoy and be entertained by it. It really puts a smile to our faces, and we love that people love it. So thank you so much, guys, for sticking with us and our shenanigans and tuning in every other week to hear our ramblings. We love and appreciate you.
And with that, check out the doobly-doo for all the stuff that we are currently involved in.
I'm pointing at the doobly-doo, but you can't see it.
And we will be back real soon with a new season.
Popping big bottles for the new season, baby.
Popping big bottles of butter wine.
Alrighty, well, good night to you all. Yeah, we love you very much.
Bye-bye.
Toodaloo. Hang on one second.
I'm all alone.
Come on, Max.
There's
Get in
no
here.
one here beside me.
Okay, I
Except
just
for
had to
a
let my
lady.
cat in. He was meowing so pitifully.
Him scram.